Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are going to break down exactly how to architect a complete database system from absolute scratch. If you're gearing up for the KCSE Computer Studies Paper 2, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're looking specifically at question 1 from the November 2024 practical exam. It tasks us with building a fee payment management system for the Marquis College of Design. Basically, we're taking a completely blank screen and transforming it into a fully functional database.
I really want you to burn this number into your memory right now, 50. That is the total number of marks on the line for this single question, 50 marks. In the context of your final grade, securing every single one of these points is absolutely massive. I mean, it can entirely shift your overall result. So our mission in this explainer is to make sure you don't leave a single one of those 50 marks sitting on the table. We're going to grab every last one.
Here is our blueprint for how we'll get there today. We'll start with Section 1. Foundations, databases, and tables. Then, Section 2, the framework, establishing relationships. Section 3, user interface, the trainees form. Section 4, extraction, creating essential queries. Section 5, presentation, finalizing the report. And finally, Section 6, print prep and pro tips.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Foundations, Databases, and Tables.
First things first. The very first instruction in the exam is simple, but it's absolutely critical. Open a blank database and save it as Marquis. Doing this without adding a password immediately locks in your first mark. Boom, you're already scoring. And what you're seeing here brilliantly illustrates the core challenge of database design. This is the raw, unformatted paper prompt provided by the examiner. It's messy, it's static, and it's entirely up to us to translate this ink on paper into a dynamic Microsoft Access structure. We have to map out courses, tutors, trainees, and the payments they make, keeping all that data perfectly organized. So, to tame that raw data, we need to create 4 distinct tables in Access Design View. And get this step alone is worth 10 marks. First up, the course table. You'll set course ID as the primary key using short text and fee as currency. Second, the tutor table, with tutor ID as the primary key. Third is the trainee table, anchored by the trainee ID. And finally, the fee payment table, where we track the amount paid. Make sure that one is set to currency or number. Nailing these precise data types right off the bat sets the foundation for everything else we're going to do.
Now here is where a lot of people trip up. How do we handle the primary key in that 4th table, the fee payment table? This is a major stumbling block where so many students lose points. Think about it. Because one trainee can make multiple payments for different courses, there isn't a single unique field we can use. Therefore, you literally have to highlight both trainee ID and course ID together and set them as a composite primary key. If you miss this step, your database simply won't allow a student to pay for more than one class, and we definitely don't want that.
Moving right along to Section 2, the framework, establishing relationships. Now that our tables are built, it is time to connect them. Establishing a correct relationships acts as the structural framework of our database, and doing it right guarantees us another solid 4 marks. Here's exactly how you execute this. First, navigate up to the Database Tools tab and click Relationships. Second, add all 4 of your tables to the workspace grid. Third, carefully click and drag the primary keys to their matching foreign keys. So for example, drag course ID from the course table over to course ID in the trainee table. This forms a one-to-many relationship. Oh, and always remember to check the box to enforce referential integrity. That little checkbox is what actually keeps your data accurate and prevents any orphaned records. Let's jump into Section 3, User Interface, the trainees form. We're shifting gears now to build the front door of the database, the user interface. This is going to bag us another 4 marks. Form design is really all about following strict instructions. Step 1, select your trainee table and launch the form wizard. Step 2, and trust me, examiners are absolute sticklers for this. You must go into Design View and add a label for the heading that is exactly 15-point font and boldface. Do not ignore those formatting rules. Step 3 and 4 require you to use the button wizard to insert specific command buttons. We need one for Add New Record and one for Delete Record. This takes your form from a basic viewing pane and turns it into a fully interactive tool.
On to Section 4, Extraction, creating essential queries. Let's look at how all of this builds into the real engine of our database. Pay super close attention here because these queries make up a massive 11 marks of your total score. We actually have 2 categories of queries to build.
On the left side, we have simple extraction queries. For example, the trainee's query just lists out names and courses. The CO2 query simply filters the course table. You just type CO2 into the criteria row to show that specific course's fee. Simple enough, right? But on the right side is our complex query, the trainee total query. This one is worth 6 marks all on its own because it requires the database to actually perform mathematical computation, adding up the total amount paid by each trainee.
So, what's the exact methodology to conquer that 6-mark query? Step 1. Add your trainee and fee payment tables in Query Design. Step 2 is the secret to everything here. You absolutely must click the Totals button. That's the mathematical sigma symbol up in the toolbar. Clicking that opens a brand new row in your grid. For Step 3, leave trainee ID and trainee name set to Group By. But for Step 4, you need to change the amount paid field from Group By to Sum. Run that query and you get to sit back and watch access to all the heavy mathematical lifting for you.
Almost there. Section 5, Presentation, Finalizing the Report.
Now we need to apply the final coat of paint to our database by creating the fee payment report. This translates all that complex query map we just did into a clean, printable document for an easy 7 marks. Let's look directly at the exam prompt again to ground our next steps. You can see the examiner is highly specific here. We need to summarize the payments, order the records from highest to lowest, and apply precise titles and footer text. Listen, if you just mindlessly click Next through the report wizard without paying attention to these specific bullets, you are literally throwing away guaranteed marks.
Here is the exact procedure to nail this report perfectly. Step 1. Run the report wizard, but make absolutely sure you base it on the trainee total query you just built, not the raw tables. Step 2. In the sorting options, choose Total Paid and set it to Descending. This ensures the highest payments appear right at the top. Step 3. Once the report is generated, switch over to Design View and change the main title label so it reads exactly Trainees Payments in all caps. And Step 4. Insert a text box down in the footer that says Prepared By, followed immediately by your actual exam index number.
Finally, Section 6, Print Prep and Pro Tips.
Okay, we have reached the final, critical stage. Building the database is really only half the battle. Getting it safely out of the computer and into the examiner's hands is how we secure those final 3 marks and avoid some nasty instant fail traps. Here's your ultimate print checklist. You need to physically print 8 items, all 4 of your tables, all 3 of your queries, and your 1 finalized report. But listen to me carefully on this next part. Failing to write your name and index number on every single physical page is a tragic way to lose points. Even if your digital work is flawless, an unlabeled piece of paper is a 0. Just write it clearly at the top right of every single page before you staple them together.
Before we wrap up, let's quickly review the critical avoids. I really cannot stress this enough. Do not use a password when saving your file. The strict exam board instructions state that passwords are banned. Think about it. If the examiner can't open your file, they can't grade it. It's that simple. Second, do not forget to click that Total Sigma button in your math queries. And finally, double-check your relationships so you don't accidentally mix up your foreign keys in the fee payment table.
And there you have it, the complete blueprint. We've taken messy, raw text from an exam paper and built a fully functioning, relational database complete with customized forms, mathematical queries, and perfectly sorted reports. The path to a perfect score is laid out right in front of you. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to open up Access, execute this blueprint perfectly, and claim all 50 of those marks? I highly encourage you to go practice these exact steps today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.